Hello, everyone, and how are you? I'm Daniel Gutierrez, and I'm coming to you from Peru, in the Andes, in the Sacred Valley of the Incas, at Catalina, my retreat center. And the reason I'm on today is because today marks my 1-year anniversary of leaving Long Beach, California to pursue my dreams. And wow, what a year it has been. And you know, I just wanted to share with you, hi Christy, I just wanted to share with you and Rick, the agony and the ecstasy of pursuing your dreams. We live in a world right now where there's so much negative, there's so many things that we're struggling through. And I just wanted to share my 1-year anniversary with you, just to share some of my highs and lows. Because the truth is no matter what I've been through, everything's been okay. I remember leaving Long Beach, California, and leaving the life that I knew, leaving my friends, leaving my work, leaving my family, and most importantly, leaving my son. Now, not leaving like gone forever, but being in the physical proximity of a place I'd been almost 20 years. To go into some crazy place called the unknown, to this place called Peru, to build a dream. And I remember asking the universe, the divine, God, oh, how big can I dream? How big can I dream? And the answer came back, oh, dream so big that I'm the only one that can help you. Dream so big that only I can help you. Do you dare to dream that big? And I said, yes. And I remember thinking in my heart, because leaving my son, my 18-year-old son, who was just starting university, was really hard. But I also remember deep in my heart thinking, how could I ever ask him to pursue his dreams if I was unwilling to pursue my own? What I didn't know was the year I was going to spend here in Peru. The things that would transpire, that would challenge my very core belief, my faith, not just in the universe, but in myself. And so I left the United States, I left Long Beach, California, and I shed I got rid of everything that the source told me to get rid of. I don't know if some of you know, but if I didn't sell it and I didn't give it away, then I shred it. You see, because the message I was getting was, you need to go to Peru and have such faith that you will take nothing with you. Nothing. No memories, no photos, no old certificates, old pictures of family, friends. 50-something years of memories in a box. I hired a truck to come. And I remember when they got there and they put my whole life, all my memories, into this green trash can. I still wasn't sure of what I was doing, but I was following what I knew was the message I was getting. And then I heard the, I said, ah! And then it was too late. Everything that I had known for all my life was shred. Old paintings, pictures I drew when I was a kid, pictures I drew in college, all gone. And on June 15th, 2019, with 3 pieces of luggage, I ventured here to Peru. Not knowing what I was getting myself into, but believing that somehow the universe and God, the divine, would be faithful. So I arrived here on June 15th last year, which is today, a year ago today, 365 days ago. And I remember bringing my friends here to show them this property. And they were all just so amazed at the property. Like, wow, it's beautiful. And then the very next comment would be, and you have to open it when? And I said, in a month. I have to open it in a month. And so they looked at me right in my eyes and said, I don't think that's going to happen, sir. You have a lot of work to do. I have 9 buildings on this property. I had, 20-something rooms that need to be painted and cleaned and all the things that need to get done. Hi, Winnie. But you know what? I left everything behind because I was told that if I had the faith, if I had faith enough in my dreams, that I would be supported, not knowing where that support was going to come from. I said, okay. And when I got here, most of you know that I had been leading spiritual journeys to Peru for a long, long time, over a decade. Well, all those people that I supported over those years came to me and said, all those years you supported us, and now we're going to support you. And they came, and they painted, and they cleaned bathrooms, and they brought pictures from their houses and crystals from their houses, and they helped get me open. And when I asked how much they wanted for payment, they said to me, you've already paid us. I almost brought tears to my eyes because I remember the difficult task I had of detaching from everything that I know in my life. And then getting here and having the community support me. Oh, and that would just be the beginning, because eventually on July 14th, I opened Catalina, our grand opening. And my son was here and a lot of my good friends were here, and it was a wonderful time. 30 days later, a good friend of mine, Corinne, brought her group, a big group, and we had a magnificent time. Oh, everything looked great. It looked like the world was going my way. And then, as all of you know, life changed for all of us. But in January of this I'm thinking about this, the agony and the ecstasy of living your dreams. That there's a lot of ecstasy and good feelings, and then there's those times that you just go, what have I done? I had a lot of those moments here over this last year. And over this really last 3 months during this quarantine time. But I want to share this with you because I want to give people hope that you can't stop dreaming. You can't quit believing that there's something better out there. I know growing up, people would say, well, this is just a bunch of horse crap. A room full of horse crap. And I would say, wow, I'm going to look for the horse. And that's kind of where we are right now, right? So in January, after everybody had left, my last group here at Catalina was in December of 2019. We have not had an income. We have not had an income here. And we've just been able, by the graces of good friends that are coming to stay sometime this year or next year, and just the divine supporting me, that everything's been fine. But I want to share with you where the agony comes in, because there was a lot of agony. And that started in January. In January, I got sick, as most of you know. I shared a lot. I've been sharing online. I got sick and I couldn't breathe one night. And I was scared because I thought I was having a heart attack. Come to find out, after all the research that was done in my blood, that was done on my lungs, that was done on my heart, that I really had acute altitude sickness. I just thought it was normal that you couldn't breathe. It's not normal. I should have went in earlier. But we got that fixed. And everything was great. Hello, Christine. Everything was great. And then in February, the green season or the rainy season, things began to change and get a little darker. Here in Pisac, Peru, Quintamayo, the river that comes up from Intihuatana, overflowed its banks and took out a big chunk of Pisac. And the river across the street, the Vilcanota River, the big river that goes all the way to Machu Picchu, was running its banks in many places. It caused devastation. I was scared. What would happen to Catalina? Well, nothing happened to Catalina, but what did happen is that the shift began to happen. And I've always been a community person. And I decided that I needed to do something to help the people. So many people getting their stores washed away into the river, their livelihoods, everything was just a mess. And I went down and I didn't know what to do. So my staff went to the store and we bought 200 something bottles of water and we started to hand them out. It was that point where we began to become part of the Pisac community. So on March 15th, as all of you know, life changed for many of us. I know here in Peru it did. What happened was that here in Peru, we were put under martial law, a lockdown. Today is day 92. I am still under lockdown. And we will be until the end of this month, the beginning of July, which would just about mean that out of the 365 days I've been here, over 100 of them I've been in quarantine. But still, I wanted to find some hope somewhere. I was angry. For those of you that followed me on Facebook, on my Facebook Lives, my first 26 days were miserable. I was angry. How could I give up my life? How could I pursue my dreams, give everything up I had and be away from my son only to be locked up on my property? Why? I kept crying. Why? Lamenting. Why? Why me? Why not me? And I remember that 26th day where I, some of you may remember the F-bomb video I put out there. I was angry. After that, I decided that I would get off social media for a few days and really think about my life and think about why I was here. I want to share something very personal with you that nobody knows. During those 4 days when I was studying in my heart, understanding what hucha meant, dense energy, which is something that I was feeling. Hucha is Andinian, and when they take that dense energy, it's not good or bad, and it's just dense. And you give it back to Pachamama, or you give it back to the Rio Vilcanota, because it feeds on that. I felt that dense energy and I was mad. And then I realized something. And this is what dreams are made of. This is why I'm on here today saying, please don't give up on your dreams. Just flow with them. Flow with the ebbs and flow. Flow up and down and sideways and stay in that level of acceptance that all will be well. Oh, I was angry because it wasn't going my way. I was angry because I wanted to do it my way. Well, evidently I'm not Frank Sinatra because I didn't get it that way. So this is what the land told me. When I first came out here last year, before I moved out here on June 15th of last year, I asked the land in a ceremony if I was supposed to be here, if this land was for me. And the land said yes. Now fast forward to that day where I'm off social media. You guys know I said I'm doing the spiritual maintenance thing. And this is what I heard the land say to me this time. When you came here, you asked if you could be on this land. We said yes. I said yes. But then you came here and you got busy. And everybody you hired to take care of your property had their hands in the property but you. You never put your hands in the dirt. You never took care of me the way you promised to. Oh, you paid people to, but I wanted your hands in my soil. And then she said to me, remember your dying mother? Remember how you took care of her in her dying days when you held her hand and you comforted her? I want you to put your hands in the dirt and be part of this property. That's why you're here. You're the only one that had the energy and the power to hold this ground during this quarantine time, during this time of shift and change. We brought you, and you have not honored us. I wept. I wept. Sometimes when we follow our dreams, we have to shut up and listen. We have to shut up and listen to what the universe is saying to us. It's not whether or not the divine speaks to me. It's whether or not I can hear him or her through the chatter of my own mind. That next day, as many of you know, because I put this on Facebook, I got out the weed eater. I call it a weed whacker. I'm from Texas. I took out the weed whacker. I didn't know how to use it. City boy. I had to go on a YouTube to figure out how to put the string in it or whatever, thread, whatever you want to call it. And then I began to mow the lawn. And it felt so damn good to finally be part of this property. Nobody was here. You see, I couldn't have employees here. Everybody was gone. I knew nothing about this property. And here I was needing to take care of it because nobody could come to work. And I learned the pipes, and I learned the water, and I learned the water flows, and I learned how to turn it on and off. And I learned how to mow the lawn. And I don't know if any guys have ever mowed acres of property with a weed whacker. It's work. But I had my hands in the soil. And the next day I took the trimmers and I started trimming my flowers myself. And I finally felt at peace. I felt at peace. That was the most beautiful thing I had ever experienced. Like my mother herself was saying, don't give up on your dreams, son, but flow with the things that are showing up. Show with the things that are showing up. And so I did. And so this quarantine time, in the first 26 days, I absolutely hated. And then it turned out, for me, because I was alone here. I was alone from human contact for a long, long time. 40 days for a person that's used to hugging and seeing people was a long time. But I went inward. And I started thinking about my dreams. I started thinking about this property. And I started saying, what can I do? And I remember asking God and asking the universe, how do I serve you from here? From this broken spot that I feel I'm in, from this space where I'm locked into these four walls I call my Catalina. How do I serve from here? And again, I got a message. And the message was, too much is given, much is expected. You know so much, Mr. Gutierrez. You have an incredible business acumen, government acumen, relationship acumen. Use it. There are people above PZAC that are hungry. There are people, communities, indigenous communities that need your support. And the next day, I put on my mask and I walked to PZAC and I looked for someone to talk to. And to make a long story short, you can read my book when I write it. I was able to put together provisions through some of you that are watching now, some of you beautiful people that supported me. And I took money I didn't have, but I took it anyway. And we fed 650 families. 650 families, 5 communities above PZAC. There's 12. I couldn't do them all. and to see their faces that somebody would even care, a stranger, a person that's not even part of this country, that would come up and serve. And then we turned around and I bought 135 chickens for Mother's Day so that mothers would have something to cook for their families. And I remember one particular lady who came over, and with her sad, worn out eyes, she looked me in the eyes and she said, "We will eat in your honor tonight. We will eat in your honor, because without you doing this, we would have nothing to eat." And again, I felt like my dreams were coming true, just not the way I had seen them, but still coming true. That all the sacrifice, the agony of moving and letting go of my life to come here was not for nothing. Because this quarantine had allowed me to become part of the community. And in a way that I would have never been able to, because I'd have been too busy to. Today, as many of you know, I'm helping 10 women with their textiles. Eventually, you'll all see that. Because it's true. I may think that I'm losing a lot, but I'm not hungry. I may be lonely sometimes, but I'm not hungry. So when you pursue your dreams, there's good, there's bad. Well, I don't even know if there's good and bad. There's just dense energy sometimes. And I want to encourage all of you out there that are like me and like John Lennon. I'm a dreamer, and I know I'm not the only one. At 55, I gave up my life. And I remember thinking as I was flying here, what the hell are you thinking, Daniel? You're no young pup. Why do you keep throwing the dice? Because it's the only thing I know how to do. I don't want to go to my grave saying, I wish I did. I wish I had. I want to go to my grave saying, I'm glad I did it. Is it always pretty chasing your dreams? No, it's not. And 1 year later, last year on the 15th, I came here. Day 92 of my quarantine. And I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier. I finally feel that I can live until I die. I finally feel like I'm living the best years of my life. And I know it's hard. I know what's going on in the U.S. is breaking my heart. And yet at the same time, we still have to find hope. We still have to be willing to move forward. We still have to be willing to be human. I hugged 3 of my friends yesterday. And I said, if hugging you is going to kill me, then I'm okay. I'll take that. So I love you all. And thank you for listening. And thank you for being a part of my life. And thank you for allowing me to stay connected to all of you during this very difficult time. And thank you for those of you that have supported me mentally, socially, financially, and all the different ways that those of you that have interviewed me, those of you that have kept me connected. I'm going to live until I die. And I hope you do too. I hope you will pursue your dreams with a vigor, and dreams so big that only the divine can help you. And so in closing, there's 3 things that I did over this last year that I hope will help you. 1, listen to you. Listen to your heart. Listen to your message. I didn't ask people about coming here. I just did it because I knew they would talk me out of it. I knew they would talk me out of it. Listen to you. Number 2, take action. Detach from any person, place, or thing that no longer serves you. Detach from that. Become so radically mindful that you know who you are. Yeah. And then lastly, trust. Trust yourself, trust the universe, knowing that whatever is in your heart was put there for a reason. And pursue that with a vigor like you've never, ever, ever pursued before. And I promise you, there's going to be some hard times. I promise you, there's going to be some days when you wish you hadn't made that decision. And I promise you, there's going to be pain. But guess what? On the other side of that is love. On the other side of that is a growth like you've never known before. On the other side of that is life. Thank you. I love you all. I'm going to live until I die. And I'm going to dream so big that only God can help me. Peace and blessings.